Thank you for
Sorry,
coming.
that's my new hello. I've been working on it for ages. Do you like it?
It was amazing.
In the old days, I used to just go, hello. I just thought everyone does that. So now I've got this new one. It's taken a lot of work to get it right. Hello.
I thought that was you sort of shaking into action.
No, it's just the Edinburgh cold.
Carey is sleeping and then suddenly wakes up.
So it's nice to be in the proper wind of Edinburgh, which I'm sure you can hear on camera and feel.
It's very real, but it feels authentic, doesn't it? I mean, if it was last year we did them and they were really sunny and they were great, but they didn't feel gritty and earthy.
Yes.
This is what Edinburgh's like.
Well, do you know Edinburgh is actually the windiest place in the world if you take into account all the hills and the steps.
Really?
Which you're constantly on one of.
Now is that that's
except right now?
Is that an actual fact?
No.
Or have you...
So demanding.
Well, you've got it's pretty intense an interview with me. Even
that's the most beautiful link. I wonder where you're going to go with that.
We might be on a picnic bench, but this is quite.
It's very intense, yeah. Like my show, which has the word intense in it.
Oh!
You weren't actually doing a link, were
no,
you?
I wasn't.
I thought you were going with the most link I've ever heard, and you weren't even.
Oh, this
now we've got a dog bothering us. Dog botherer. What's going on? This whole thing's coming apart.
Intensive Carey is the name of your show.
That was a beautiful link. How did you do that?
I just shout the name of your show randomly when I feel like it. But it is an important show in many regards for you, I assume, because you weren't here last year. Well, you were here.
I was still
on the planet.
Thank you.
But you weren't at the Edinburgh Fringe.
Thank
because
you for clarifying that. I was really worried about what happened to me for a moment. I had a heart attack last year and I missed one of the fringes, which and it was shortly after I just paid up. I just put the advert in, come up with the title, which I liked. I had the blurb written, which anyone who knows the truth about the festival, you write the blurb before you write the show because it has to be in, So. And I wrote the blurb and I thought, this sounds like it's going to be a good show if it's anything like I promised it to be. And then I had a heart attack and had to cancel.
So that show,
yeah.
So that show, was there something to it? Is that a show that's been lost, or?
Oh, it would have been amazing. I'll tell you what, really, really good. I mean, I hadn't written a word of it, and I had no idea what the content was, but just from the advert,
you felt it.
Yeah, totally. Something big was coming, but now none of us will ever know what it would have been.
One of life's great mysteries, I guess.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it? We'll just have to carry on. I don't know how we're going to do it. You can come along and see my show this year, and that might make you feel better.
As soon as you, I don't want to go too intense into it, but as soon as you had the heart attack, or shortly after, did you know there was a show in it?
No. It was. In fact, I wasn't sure I'd be performing again because doctors warned me against that and told me that I was extremely fragile. So, no, for a while I wasn't sure whether I'd be back into doing comedy at all. And then that was the next step, really. It was one thing at a time. So, but of course, immediately everybody else in the profession comforted me with, your next show is going to be interesting, and coming up with titles. And in fact, this title for the show this year was suggested by Hal Cruttenden, another comic, on my web page, on my Facebook page. And there was a number of suggestions, and I instantly liked that one. Intensive Carey is great. It's great to have a title where your name is in the title, because then out of the several thousand shows happening here at Edinburgh, there's less likelihood someone's going to have the same title, right? But also, it was a good one. So, and I really liked taking a title suggested by a friend, by another comic, because in a way it felt like a little bit of paying homage to all the generosity and kindness I had from other comedians last year who tried to help me out in every way. And I think it's a nice comic trait as well. When so this is a comedian thing. Oh, my family's just been killed in a house fire. That's terrible. Here's some suggestions for your show.
Here's a title.
Yeah, here's a title. It'd be funnier if your uncle died too. Oh, well, I'll go and kill him then. That's the comedian way. We're hardcore people. Joke first.
That's the tragic way of it, I guess. Would you, do you think you'd have felt the same way if it had happened to somebody else?
No, I'd have felt much better if it was someone else. I hate it when things happen to me. Especially bad things.
Has it made you stronger as a person?
Has
internally?
I've been asked this a few times. I've been trying to focus on the answer because I don't know whether I can really tell whether it has or not. Life goes on and it's not like anything's ever cleared up. You see a little bit of the future and realises that it can get unpleasant there. So no, I haven't come out with some joy de vivre. I just can't wait to do everything. But I'll tell you this, it's nice to be alive, because I found that being alive, you can get a lot more done. You can get things done when you're alive. You can fix things, do things, go places, and dead people achieve nothing. Do you know what I mean? They're not known for anything. There's nothing on this planet that's been built by dead people. You know, they did it first, obviously, before that happened. But so yeah, I highly recommend life to people.
You have a legacy though when you're dead. You know, oh, he was.
Yeah, you can have a legacy, but only if you achieve the things whilst you were alive. You can't leave it all.
So it's made you realise what you haven't achieved and want to achieve?
It's made me realise that I can. I think genuinely, there was a point where I was really ill, and there was so much needed doing, and when you were getting in debt and everything else, you think, well, the only way to do anything about any stuff is to get off a hospital bed and get out there. So being alive again was quite useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Not that having a heart attack isn't great. I don't want to put people off. If you've got a bit of time to kill when you're bored, have a heart attack. Everyone's doing it, then you can have your show at the Edinburgh Festival.
So yeah, it was a difficult thing, I guess, but
no, it's easy. You just have to smoke a lot and eat badly.
Did you ever
jog.
Did you ever see it coming? Did you ever exercise the possibility of it? Was it ever a risk that doctors had said to you? No,
not at all. No, I felt cheated for that. I felt like there should have been a warning. I really feel like there should be a thing where they take all men in when they reach like 46 and they tell you you're having a heart attack, and then they go, no, only joking, but next time, okay, so you be careful. But that doesn't happen. No, they tell you it, and then you accuse them of joking, and they look at you seriously and say, no, I'm not.
The embellishment on the show. I mean, I've seen the show, which I haven't seen all of the comedian shows, so that is something. But it's quite a journey, and lots of things happen, and it's almost verging on surrealism at times, just because so much. I don't want to give it away. Has it been embellished hugely, or has that been a consideration for you?
The facts not. Obviously, I go off into my own little world every now and then because I'm in a hospital bed throughout this, and I think you have to get away from that occasionally. But no, it's not so much embellishments, but there are every now and then I'll put, like, for instance, there's a story of me dying on stage at a gig, which is a true story, but in fact there was 2 or 3 gigs that I've kind of amalgamated together, which were just dreadful. But originally I was telling the show each individual story, but I've got an hour. It's not long enough to tell every detail of what happened, and there were so many. And what it's about, it's not really from a position of me feeling sorry for myself so much as now able to laugh at the pathetic level that I reached back then. Because for a while, I truly believed this is it. I didn't know this was a phase I was going through and I'd be okay again. I thought, from everything the doctors were saying, my heart's damaged, I'm very weak, I can't open a bottle without getting bruises all over my body, and that's it now. That's how things are for life. So yeah, when I look back on that bubble I was in, then I can't help but just appreciating just being able to move, is a wonderful thing.
Is there any part of you that's sick of talking about it, because it's kind of what you're known for at the moment?
It's my thing, isn't it?
It is your thing.
I know. Well, I don't think you dare go up to Edinburgh and do a show about something, then turn your back on talking about it. Like, who are you to do that? So this year I will be Mr. Heart Attack. I'm sure it'll go on next year, and I'll find some way of quelling it fast. But for now, yeah, I accept.
Are you looking forward?
I'll wear that badge. I'll put the hat on. Give me the t-shirt.
There's no part of you that's looking forward to dropping it.
Dropping the show, or dropping
dropping the whole heart attack.
First of all, you got to remember the show is fluid. I mean, I'm putting new bits and I'm playing with things, and also learning how to tell each piece better. And so at the moment, it can't bore me, because whilst the show's at the festival, it's going through changes, and it's constantly interesting, exciting. And you go through an emotional roller coaster with a show, because there'll be a few days where I'll go off it completely and wonder why the hell am I talking about this. And it's really personal. It's hard to talk about something personal, and it's also hard to tell a story. So. I like to use Edinburgh to improve my abilities at things, so I'm getting better at that and getting better at learning how to do the very thin line with emotion of not being just over the top obsessed with myself and oh, please feel sorry for me, but at the same time being able to be honest and knowing what you're allowed to say, which isn't taking advantage of people.
Where is your show? What is your show? Just to wrap things up.
Okay, the show goes by the glorious name, as suggested by Hal Cruttenden and accepted, thank you Hal, of Intensive Carey. It's at the Gilded Balloon, and it's at 10 o'clock every night in a lovely room, and it's the place to be. I was taught that by a marketing man. It's the place to be. You've got to say that.
Well, it's the Gilded Balloon, which is quite pleasant. I consider them quite civilised there.
Do you?
Wow.
Well, then,
I think
maybe say no more. We should stop right there. Come to the quite civilised Gilded Balloon.
Well, I think out of all of the venues that you could be performing at 10 p.m, the Gilded Balloon's up there.
Yes.
It's the place to be.
Very well said. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Cheers.
Cheers.